Daniel.
I'm DK.
And you're watching Gear65 number 33. This week's gadget is the Samsung Omnia II. So this is the Samsung Omnia II. This is their second attempt, a brand new attempt at building Windows mobile phones. If you actually remember the Omnia 1, right. The original Omnia, yeah.
The Omnia 1 wasn't that good actually.
Yeah. So, the design is very familiar actually, because the design is almost identical to many of the designs that they've been doing recently. So this is the Omnia 2 and this is the Samsung Jet. So,
it's exactly the same, it's just different screen size.
There's another one in fact, right? They call it the Samsung Preston, right?
Yeah, but Preston is very different. The button in the middle is different.
Okay, yeah, so let's go through quickly the buttons since they're almost similar. Let's see, let me just unlock the focus right here. Okay, so you have a front-facing camera, speaker right here. Volume control is right over here. You have over here a place for you to hang lanyards, right? 5.0 megapixel camera with autofocus as well as dual LED flash. Okay, over here you have the phone lock and unlock button. Right. Alright, and over here you have the camera shutter button. On the TouchWiz phones, right? This one is actually a button for you to launch the cube thingamajig. On the Omnia 2, this is actually a back button, right? You can also press and hold this and to launch that cube navigation thing. If you don't know what it is, it doesn't really matter because it's just a gimmick. Useful. Yeah, it's just a gimmick. It's not really very useful. Alright. So at the front here, over here, you have the call button, you have the hang up and the power on off button. This is the menu button / task switcher. Alright.
Right.
So basically, a lot of people are asking, is this a navigation button? No, this is not a 5-way navigation button.
Yep.
Neither is this an OK button. Yeah. Neither is this an enter button. This is the menu / task switcher.
Just button. Imagine the iPhone middle button.
Yeah, correct. Something like that. It's kind of strange, right? We need to mention this because a lot of time Windows mobile phones, right, most of the time if they have a button here, it's usually a select button, an enter button, or menu navigation or whatever. This is actually quite out of. It's not very normal. All right.
But it's a good way.
Yeah. Oh yes, the jacks. Most importantly, 3.5mm headphone jack.
Yes.
Yeah, this is one of the things that Samsung is really, they've consistently placed it in all their mobile phones, as well as a micro USB port, right? So you can charge as well as do data from this particular port, which is another thing that they're consistent at. Of course, we mentioned already the 5.0 megapixel. Another thing that Samsung has always been very good and consistently placing good 5.0 high resolution cameras in their smartphones.
That's right.
And of course, the really big display. This is 3.7 inch.
Yes, it's AMOLED.
AMOLED.
But then it's Windows Mobile 6.1.
That's Windows Mobile, yeah. So this is the screen, and so it's really nice, very sharp display, very bright display.
Yeah. Not as good as Samsung Jet.
Yeah, because of the colors, right? The amount of colors is only 65,000 colors.
Right.
Yeah, 65,000 plus.
Whereas the Samsung Jet is 16 million.
Yep.
So the restriction is basically because of the Windows Mobile 6.1.
Yep.
So we are not sure whether Windows Mobile 6.5 do they allow 16 million?
No, it's not called Windows Mobile 6.5 anymore. It's called Windows Phone. Yes.
Yeah. So we are not sure whether they allow 16 million or not. So if they allow, maybe you can see 16 million on Omnia 2.
So this is TouchWiz 2, TouchWiz UI version 2, right, for the Windows Mobile. So this is quite different from the one that you find on the Samsung Jet. Of course, the thing that's not so good with the original Omnia was their user interface. We always talk about TouchWiz, it's like they're trying very hard, but it's not there. With the new version of TouchWiz 2.0, we find that they're quite very much getting very close.
Yes.
The software in terms of talking about features, I have not performance yet, just talking about features, right? The number of widgets the kind of widgets that they're placing available for the TouchWiz is starting to get pretty useful. Things like profile, as well as this shortcut, 5 shortcut button widget. All right, you have all these SMS indicators and stuff like that, and you can also have several pages. So this is the widgets are actually getting pretty useful. All right, and you can also have 3 pages. The issue though that we have with the TouchWiz widget screen, as much as it's an improvement from the previous one, is that it takes a while it's a bit laggy lah. So if you see, for example, I switch back here, every widget has to actually reload. See, let me just show you again. Go back to this one. Load. You see, for example, the icons, they have to come out one by one. So that's one of the things the TouchWiz, the widget screen, although it's useful, right, is still slightly...
Is it because it's running Windows 6.1 at the background?
No, I think it's just because it's a little bit it's not really that efficient yet, or other than the hardware is not that good.
Okay.
Yeah. So they did a few things, right? I see a lot of things that they're doing very consistent to very similar to what HTC has done with their TouchFlo as well. For example, let's say if you click up here, right? Samsung has written their own custom software to blow up all the icons up here, so you can actually see the icons, and then you can click on this.
More convenient for touch.
Yeah, and then of course you have Samsung's own proprietary volume control. So yeah, they made the phone a lot more touch friendly, right, for fingers. Yeah, something that Windows Mobile ironically was very bad at. Another thing that we really love is actually the start menu, right? Like we always say, right, HTC was the first company to actually get rid of the start menu and replace it with their own. And now Samsung has done the same as well. So when you click on this, instead of the tiny little icons, you get this screen. Right?
Oh, this is good.
And this is good, right? Because what they did, they brought this big icons over to your Windows Mobile phone. You can touch your buttons very easily, launch your applications and stuff like that. And if you notice, there's actually a heading right here, and you can actually flip pages, right? For different kind of stuff, and you see the headings change.
You can edit the headings also.
Yes, you can actually edit it. So if you just click on edit right here, okay, you can rename. You can rename the heading.
Right.
You can actually change the icons, you can move them around. You can have up to, let me count here, 1, 2, not sure you're able to see it. You can see all these little black strips that represents potential pages, so you can have up to about 10 or 12 pages, or 10 pages if I'm not wrong.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot of pages. You won't really make full use of them. So it's really good actually, you can customize it a lot better than you actually can on the iPhone actually, in my opinion at least. Yeah. Alright. And then, of course, you can actually take out applications from this menu, and then they'll all come underneath this place called Others. Applications that you really don't want to use anymore. For example, Internet Explorer. Yeah, it's a horrible application. Don't use Internet Explorer. Windows Media Player and stuff like that.
Oh, you didn't say what Explorer are they using? What?
Yes. So just like all the pretty good Windows Mobile smartphones out there, this phone is actually using Opera Mobile. Not to be confused with Opera Mini, Opera Mobile, which is a very good browser. They've replaced a lot of applications, right? They replaced the phone book with their own phone book, which is really good. It's very touch friendly. They even replaced the SMS. They replaced the calendar as well. Right. They did a pretty good job with replacing the applications with their own version of the applications, very much like what HTC had done, right? And which is really a good welcome.
In fact, there's not much Windows interface anymore.
Yeah, not much. Even for the email and SMS application. So for example, you can the SMS. See, this is the Samsung's TouchWiz UI stuff.
Even HTC didn't do anything to the
They did.
SMS?
The newer versions, right, with the Touch Pro 2 and all that, they're starting to replace it as well. So, the menu, this menu is, to me, my favorite feature of the TouchWiz user interface. Not so much of the widget screen right here. Yeah. Another cool feature that's actually that we already mentioned, and you probably already spotted it a few times in this phone, is actually the task switcher. So this is they actually replaced, Windows Mobile has their own task switcher. Right. Yeah, but as you can notice, if you're a Windows Mobile phone user, you'll realize that little icon is actually not found here. Samsung actually replaced their own touch switcher. Sorry with the wind, it's a bit windy. Yeah. So if you press and hold, you get to this task switcher screen. Very similar to, but as you can notice, it's a bit laggy. Very similar to the, not very, but close to the Palm Pre. Right?
Actually very similar to a Samsung Jet.
Oh, Samsung Jet, yeah. So you can actually take a look at the icons, and then after that you can straight away launch to the application. Using the same task switcher, you can also end the application or end all the applications. Or you can
see the grid view.
See in the grid view, all the applications. So it's pretty cool. They took Windows Mobile phone and made it really pretty simple to use. So overall, it's a pretty good phone, right? The software has been quite improved tremendously, and we really like it. We feel that Samsung is really starting to get there when it comes to user interfaces. So I see the same way that this phone is having the same issues as the original HTC Touch HD, right? When the HTC Touch HD first came out, right, it was very good software, but the hardware was a little bit unstable. Like the software was still quite laggy and all that kind of stuff. Right. So subsequently they released firmwares and they made the phone really good to use. The same Touch HD. I believe the same will happen for Samsung. Right. Yeah. So that was the Samsung Omnia II. It's a Windows Mobile 6.1 phone. Right, it will be upgradable to Windows Phone 6.5 once the software is out. Right?
It should be very fast. I think
by the end of the year, you'll definitely be able to be running 6.5 on this thing. Right. It's currently only available in Singapore at the time of recording. That is the 4th of August 2009.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, it's so far we think it's a good phone. I mean, it's not perfect, right? The widget screen and the task switcher is still a little laggy, right? But it's quite usable, and we are very sure that Samsung will be able to improve on this, and either in future models or with firmware upgrades as they come along. All right. So if you have any questions you want to ask us, gear65@tech65.org. That's our email address. And our URL, www.tech65.org. Check out all our previous episodes. Alright, so that's it for this episode. I'm Daniel.
I'm DK.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.